All right, so tariffs. How's this going to affect you as a fashion brand? What's the pros, if there are any? And what are the cons? There are a lot. So let's discuss. Next, Making the Brand. What's up, everybody? Rob Norman from Planet Brooklyn Academy, and this is Making the Brand Season 2, the series where I give you a little knowledge and insight on how to start a clothing brand, and if you already have one, how to make it better. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything I drop when it drops. All right, so tariffs and fashion. How is this going to affect you as a small fashion brand or an upstart if you're just starting a fashion brand? So before we get into that, I think we need to understand exactly what tariffs are. Most people don't seem to understand this, and I don't understand why. If you know what 1 and 1 equals, which is 2, then tariffs should make perfect sense to you. It's not complicated. It is not rocket science. It's very simple. So when we're talking about tariffs, optically, people think it looks good because when they hear tariffs and that we are putting tariffs on goods coming from China, it sounds like America's being strong, which it's not, because China is not paying anything. And I will explain that in a second. Now, also, it sounds strong when you say, yes, everything that China ships to us, we're putting tariffs on. Yeah, it sounds strong, but at the end of the day, who are the consumers of Chinese products? We are, and we're going to pay for it. Now, the way that the tariffs work is that, yes, everything that China produces, we're going to put a tariff on it, and they're going to ship it to us. But that means all their prices go up. Do you think China's paying for this? No, because they're just going to turn around and now charge us. Case in point, you have your clothing line, and let's just say for the last year, you've been using Alibaba to source manufacturing of your clothing, which Alibaba basically sources all manufacturers within China. So that's where you're finding a lot of production from on Alibaba, is through China. So as you're searching on there, you've been using one company, and let's just say you're getting t-shirts made. And being that you're just starting, your production is probably small. So they may be charging you about $6 a shirt to make, which is good for a small run. So you're doing $6 and you're retailing your shirt at $30. But now the tariffs come in. So now the US puts tariffs on Chinese goods. China's not going to pay it, because what they're going to do is saying, great, you're going to charge us, so we're just going to increase our pricing on all the things that we're selling to you, which means you as a manufacturer, as a designer, as a fashion brand. So now, instead of you paying $6 for the shirt, you're now going to pay $12, because now you're eating the cost of the tariff. So you now pay $12, which is now cutting into your profit, because you were selling your shirts at $30 and now you have to go up on price because you need to still make that profit margin that you were making before. So your $30 shirt, you're now selling at $38. And for some people, it may not seem like that much of a jump, and they can go with that. But if they've known you to sell a shirt at $30 and suddenly it jumps to $38 out of nowhere, people are going to start having second thoughts, especially if tariffs are going on everything and prices are going up on everything. So some people may say, like, I like their stuff, but I don't know why I was spending $38 on that shirt, because I could really use that money to buy eggs, which are like $10, or I can buy something else, or I can get something for my house that I really need. So you may start to lose customers because of the price point. And that's, again, who gets, the tariffs is that you trying to make a profit, you've increased it. So your consumer is now paying the tariffs. So this cycle of who's paying what, at the end, it is the American consumer that's paying for the tariffs. So it doesn't work for us, and it hurts us as fashion brands because we have to increase our prices with that. So this is the simplicity of how tariffs work and how it affects you as you move forward with it. Now, there could be one silver lining in this, and it's a very thin one. But when you raise the cost when China raises the costs on things, as I gave you the example of saying you're paying $12 for a shirt now, you may have to look domestically to get things made. Now, we all know that getting product made in the US is expensive already. That's why we go to China. But if it costs you the same amount of money to produce in China, which are getting made in the US now because of the tariffs, and is an even playing scale now, it would make more sense to produce your stuff here in the US, only if the prices are equal. So if I'm getting charged $12 to make a shirt here, just know that it's cheaper than getting $12 shirt made in China because you still have the shipping costs. So now that's going to increase. But we know shipping costs in the US is going to be cheaper. And why are the two prices different? Like, why can't we get things done cheaper in the US versus what they're doing in China? Because we have labor laws. All right, you have to pay people minimum wage here. People can't work for the same amount of money that people are getting paid in China, where some of them are getting like 3 cents an hour. We have to pay people here. So that's why it's more expensive to do it. But again, with the tariffs, it will raise the prices. So they could, in some spots, become almost equal. So that's where I say you can get stuff made in California, North Carolina, where they make a lot of this product for shirts and things like that. You can get it. And the fact that you're shipping domestically, it'll be cheaper than shipping it from China. And it's quicker. We know that you have FedEx and all of them here. You can get that stuff a lot faster than you normally do out of China, because sometimes you're waiting like 2 weeks to get product out of China and have it arrive here. So it works in that favor. Now, what other options do you have? Now, even though we depend on China a lot for fashion to get things made well and cheap and fast, there are other alternatives. So start looking at other countries that there are no tariffs being put on them. Places like India. India makes great fabrics, great product. Look at Mexico. Have to see where and if tariffs are going into effect with Mexico, but Mexico is another great spot to get product made. They make a lot of the denim that we sell in the US comes out of Mexico, but they also make great, t-shirts and things like that. And look at other countries around the world that can manufacture a lot of stuff, especially a lot of the South American countries. If you're doing t-shirts and things like that, that can produce those things for you, and you can get good rates. Because what's going to happen is, because of the tariffs, you're going to have other countries trying to take that business from them, because now that their prices are higher, other countries are going to step up and say, hey, you can get it made with us and it won't be as expensive. So look at those things as you're considering, how to manufacture and how to navigate things right now with this tariff. And the fact that we're not even sure what's going on with it, because one moment is on pause, the next moment is happening. We don't know if it's going to be going across all boards for all products. We don't know yet. But do keep your options open as far as where else you can get things made and how you can get things made. Also, a lot of people wonder, well, there's some companies saying that if the tariffs go into effect, they're not changing their prices. Well, think about this. The reason why they're not changing their prices is because they're marking up their product already 4 or 5 times higher than what it costs to manufacture. So case in point again, when we talk about a t-shirt, some of these big companies that are charging you $75 for a t-shirt, it's only costing them $2 to make that shirt. So they can take a hit and say, we're not going to raise our prices. We're still going to keep it at the same. And it sounds great, but just know that they're already charging you 5 times the amount. Now they're just going to charge you 4 times, so they lose a little bit of money. It looks good for them in a PR sense, but that's the only thing. They're just taking a personal hit financially to be able to keep it at a price that seems like they're not changing their prices, but it's only hurting them. It's not hurting you. They're just not making as much money as before. So think about when you hear people say, companies say like they're not going to increase their prices. That's the reason why they're not increasing them. But for you as an individual creating your brands and your lines, you may have to increase your prices. So be prepared for that. And if you can find a better way to do it, as I've already given you ideas, look into those. All right, I hope that was helpful for you guys today. As always, hit that like, subscribe button. If you have any comments and thoughts, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.